Host's log. Star date Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. These are the voyages of the podcast, the franchise. And as you might have guessed from my incredibly funny opening, with today we're starting the Star Trek franchise, an enormous fucking franchise. I'm Daniel Ehrenberg. I'll, yeah, the captain. And over there's my first mate, Logan B. Adair.
It's true. Over here on the ones and twos.
Logan,
Go with
who was
it.
your first mate?
Well, I feel like is that like our best friend conversation? You said I wasn't
No,
even your
no,
best friend. You said
no.
you
I
had
meant
best
who you
friends.
lost your virginity to.
Are you saying you lost your virginity to me?
No, no, no. That's in my head what I think of a first mate.
She was nobody to me.
Jesus,
That's
this
that's
fucking
that
sociopath
that's
over here.
actually true. She's like the of all the ladies I've laid, she's the one that means the least to me, I would say.
Okay, a great start.
You
Um,
asked.
I know. I wanted to know the answer. Now
What
I
about
have it.
you? Did she mean a lot to you?
No, not really, actually. Um, Logan, let's talk about Star Trek. Do you want to hear my history with this franchise?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, a lot of people assume I'd be a big Star Trek guy.
You're a big
Okay.
nerd.
Because I'm a big fucking nerd and people know also that I'm not into fantasy shit. I'm into sci-fi,
Right.
So like I like, you know, more grounded shit, Marvel comics and uh Star Wars. And not that that's grounded, but
A
um
little bit.
I like space more than fantasy worlds.
Battlestar
Okay.
Galactica. You
I
like
love
that?
Battlestar Galactica.
I feel
I've
like
watched
that's a
that
lot like
show
this.
many
I
times.
haven't seen that. I'm
All right.
guessing that's like this.
A little bit. But I never got into Star Trek. And it started from when I was a kid. Okay. And my dad used to watch Star Trek The Next Generation.
Hmm.
And as a kid, you watch that show, the star is like a bald British guy. They're all wearing these uniforms. It seemed boring. Okay. So I never got into it. Then when I got older, I started watching the movies. The first one I watched was the seventh movie, Star Trek Generations, which is the one that like combines Shatner and Patrick Stewart. It was probably not the right one to start with.
Why did you watch that one first? Because it had Stewart.
It was like the popular one at the time. Like once I became interested,
Okay.
it was the most recent one that had come out,
Hmm.
and so I watched that. Thought it was fine. Didn't think about it for years. Then I go to college for TV. All right, and they talk about Star Trek a lot. Like Star Trek was a big show. I took this class like cult television, and Star Trek is a landmark in cult television because it got canceled after 3 seasons. And then they made an enormous fucking franchise out of it 10 years later. That's something that never happens. Now you see shit like that all the time. A show gets canceled, it doesn't have a proper ending, and then it's brought back years later. Arrested Development, Veronica Mars. Uh,
iCarly.
sure.
I don't know if that had a proper ending or not the first time.
I don't either, but regardless, like these shows, they get forgotten about and then they're brought back. All right,
Right.
that wasn't a thing back then, and like TV shows weren't even on DVD or streaming or anything. There was no DVR, so like once a show was off the air, like it fucking disappeared off the face of the earth.
To
Like
the
people
Genesis
never,
planet.
sure, people never saw it again. So, but Star Trek went into syndication. All right. So it was in reruns and
Yeah.
it like built its biggest following that way over the next 10 years. And that's how this first movie ended up getting made.
Okay.
So
So when did you go back and watch this first movie then?
I went in like college. I watched a few of them. I've seen all but one of the original cast movies. I've never
Being
seen Search for Spock for some reason.
is that not the
Um,
next one?
that's the next one, yeah. And I've seen maybe only one of those Next Generation ones.
Okay.
Uh,
And what of the
eh,
shows have you seen?
nothing. So like
Really?
I've seen a few episodes of the original series, and from what I've seen, it's very good. But here's what's always stopped me, my own brain. Okay. Because I'm me, and you guys know this because I created a show called The Franchise that requires me to be a completist of every dumb piece of shit in the world. Uh, I always feel like if I start Star Trek, like if I sit down and watch the pilot episode of Star Trek and keep going, I'm gonna have to not only watch the three seasons of the original series, I'm gonna have to watch 7 seasons of the Next Generation, 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine,
The Orville?
seven. I've watched that.
Is that real Star Trek or like fake
No,
Star
it's
Trek?
not. It's just a total rip off of Star Trek.
Okay.
Um, 7 seasons of Voyager, 4 seasons of Enterprise,
How do you
and
know all
whatever.
this? This is so
I
amazing.
because I've wanted to do this for years and just like haven't convinced myself to fucking do it.
They made a new what's the new one with Sasha from The Walking Dead?
That's Discovery. That's the thing on Paramount Plus. So I feel like I'd have to watch all of those shows, or at the
Right.
very least, the original series and Next Generation. But then, also being me, I know that all the dudes that were the head writers on Deep Space Nine went on to create Battlestar
Stop.
Galactica.
Calm down. You don't have to watch their new. Oh, I thought you meant you had to watch like their next show that they went
No,
off to create.
Deep Space Nine. The dudes who worked on Deep Space Nine did Battlestar Galactica. So I'm like, ooh, that one's probably like the most
Mm,
complex and interesting.
but you can't just jump right to that one.
No,
Impossible for you to
impossible.
do.
I'd
It
I'd
doesn't.
first have to watch, 250 episodes of like the first two shows.
Does it not bother you that we're not covering the shows here? Because like Hannibal, remember we did Hannibal plus
I know.
Clarice,
The reason
Adam's
where
Family.
the reason I'm not making us cover the shows here, the pilots or whatever, is because I'd want to keep watching. And I do not have time for that in my life right now.
We couldn't just do
I
the
hope
pilot of
to
each show.
it's gonna frustrate me. Before I die, I will watch all the Star Treks.
So when you
All
start
right.
watching them, we know suicide might be imminent. You gotta finish it before you kill yourself. We're like, oh
That's right.
no,
That's
Daniel,
right.
we're getting to the end. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well,
What's
that's the
that?
sign.
I saw a movie once or something where like a guy had like his favorite writer was like Hemingway or something, and he read every word he's ever written, but he kept one. He held on to one of them, and he was like, "I'll read this last one before I die." That's
That's
what Star
interesting.
Trek is for me with TV.
Right. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
how that one character is with Emily Dickinson. I couldn't think of his name.
Owen, how dare
Owen.
you?
That would have
Uh,
been a great joke if I could think of it.
yeah,
Owen.
yeah.
My
My Emily.
Emily, of course.
All right, listen.
I'm wearing a red shirt today in honor of Star Trek.
Oh, are you
That's
planning
a
to die?
classic joke. Where the
Yeah.
red shirt characters always are disposable.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's like me. So I got the red shirt on.
Great, great. All right. Have we done it? Have we talked about my background with Star Trek enough?
I think so. I have no background. I've never seen anything.
You never saw any of the movies? What about the JJ ones?
It was like on once. My mom was watching it. I like walked in the room.
Oh, wow. Even those.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I
Okay.
heard the second
Wow.
one's really good. Into Darkness.
That's my least favorite of the three.
Oh wait, maybe that's the bad one. Maybe it takes a dip and then three's good again. Is that what happened?
Kind of.
I think
Uh,
that's what I heard.
Justin Lin directed the third one.
Okay.
The first one's great. That's the best one. The second one's I don't want to spoil it. Never
Who
mind.
did two? I think I
Abrams.
know it. I know what happened.
Abrams did the first two.
The Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Cumberbatch is there.
Okay.
All right.
And they tried to market it like new character, and everyone's like, bro, we know what's going on here.
Oh, so you know that
I'm
guy.
very familiar with that
Okay,
story.
okay.
Yeah, that,
All
that
right.
yeah,
Well, but I didn't.
yeah.
That was a surprise to me when I saw that in theaters. I was like, "Oh, it's that guy."
I was like so plugged into movie YouTube in like the mid 2010s. I
Yeah,
was so in on the
that doesn't
news.
surprise me.
I know.
And now you're the best thing on movie YouTube, Logan.
That's actually true. And yourself, Daniel.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
hmm all right, let's get into it. So, Star Trek airs 1966 to 1969.
Nice.
High five. Then it gets canceled and goes into syndication. Um, the first sign of a Star Trek movie is when the show was on, the creator Gene Roddenberry had pitched a prequel movie that would like this is how they all got together and shit. But you know, they were like, no, this show is not a big success. We're obviously not making a movie out of it. So
But then Star
that
Wars.
no, but even before that, all right, Star Trek was doing quite well in syndication. So they started talking about a movie in 1975.
Okay.
All right, that was the first sign of it. Um, Roddenberry wrote a draft. It was called The God Thing,
Okay.
and then the studio didn't like it. They were like, it's slow. It's more suited for TV than movies. Like let's. So they were like, let's try and get like the biggest sci-fi names in the business to write drafts of this. So they got like
Mm.
Harlan Ellison, like novelists, and Ray Bradbury. Like they all wrote a Star Trek script, and they didn't like any of them. All right. Then in 1976, they get a 20-page treatment. All right. I think it was just written by a producer. It
Hmm.
was called Planet of the Titans.
Okay.
All right. And this got some people interested finally.
Right.
All right. So they hired Philip Kaufman to direct it, the dude who went on to do Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's right. This
And
guy has a body snatcher movie too, the director here. The Body
but
Snatcher.
really?
Yeah, he made like the
Oh, Robert
Andromeda
Wise.
Strain, the
Yeah, yeah.
Body Snatcher, The Day
We'll
the
get
Earth
to him.
Stood
We'll get to him.
Still.
We'll get to him. We'll get to him.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so they start actually working on that. They're developing it, but then they cancel the movie. They're like, they get cold feet about it. They decide not to make it. 3 weeks after it's canceled, Star Wars comes out.
Damn.
Yeah, it's always I've always thought it was so funny that like there's like a rivalry between Star Wars and Star Trek fans. Like Star Trek fans should thank Star Wars
That's actually a
fans.
great point, Daniel.
They might have never gotten anything but those first three seasons if Star Wars was never a hit.
You, I'm gonna always say that if
Yeah,
anyone's like having the argument. Be like, guys, you just kiss each other. Come on. Like Star Trek, they might not have even made extra stuff
yeah.
without Star
You
Wars.
were this was a mutually beneficial relationship between these two franchises.
Yeah, it was the WWF and whatever, WCW.
Well, WCW shut down.
For a
All
little
right,
while. Yeah.
forever.
I mean, like they were in competition for a little while.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So then what's going on at Paramount is there's Barry Diller. You know Barry Diller?
No, but he sounds cool.
He's a rich old executive guy. And he decides he wants to launch a fourth television network.
Wow.
Right now, there's only
Ballsy.
ABC, NBC, and CBS. Eventually, the fourth television network becomes Fox.
Right. That was
Okay,
my
but
guess.
but that doesn't happen until like 1988 or something. And so, but in the 70s, Barry Diller is pushing for a fourth TV network, a Paramount network. Okay,
Huh.
and he decides, what if we launch a fourth? We do a what if we do a Star Trek series to launch this fourth network?
Hmm.
All right. Later, Paramount does this because they start the network UPN, in the 90s. And the first night of UPN's existence, the pilot episode of Star Trek Voyager premiered.
Wow, so it
Okay.
all came
So
to
they,
fruition.
yeah, so they never gave up on this idea.
That's awesome.
Um,
And like the Paramount Plus, that's sort of the Paramount network.
yeah. And their big launch was fucking Star Trek Discovery.
I was gonna say the Challenge All Stars.
Oh, I just saw the Challenge season 40 is finally premiering on there on the 23rd.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, I'll be
A
watching it.
year later
I
after
know.
its
So
release.
stupid.
I know.
All right.
Remember the TJ made the joke the first time? He was like, "This challenge is going to be Paramount." And he like looked directly into the camera. Remember that?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Paramount! Shout out to Paramount!"
Nice.
That was so funny.
All right. So they're gonna do a new Star Trek series. It's gonna be called Star Trek Phase 2.
Okay,
All right.
like Marvel.
Gene Roddenberry is psyched to work on it. All right. This is his baby. All right. Everybody else says they're coming back. Leonard Nimoy is no, I'm not doing it.
No, you can't do it
No
without
Spock.
Leonard.
No Spock. So they're gonna do it without Spock. Leonard Nimoy has this issue where he doesn't think he got proper compensation for how well Star Trek did in syndication.
Okay.
So he decides he's not coming out to play, and so they write the pilot script without Spock. It's going to be all the original guys except Spock, and then they introduce 2 new characters in the pilot. I think 3 actually, but one of them didn't make it into the movie. There was like a new Vulcan, but also Ilea and Decker, who are eventually in the fucking first.
They're new characters.
They were created for this new pilot and then transferred over to the film. All right.
I saw that guy's name in the credits and was like, "Holy shit, we just talked about this guy." And then I was watching the movie and I didn't recognize that was him. He was like really young. I didn't know that was him. And then afterward, I was like, "Oh shit, that's who that was." That's crazy.
Stephen Collins. There is one scene, they're all wearing like bodysuits in the movie. You could really see his dick, the outline of his dick through the bodysuit. And all I could think was, eventually you're going to show that thing to a kid.
Yeah. Come watch this LeGros. Remember that funny joke?
Hilarious stuff. All right. So the pilot that Gene Roddenberry writes is called In Thy... Oh, and by the way, if I get anything wrong, I'm a dumbass about Star Trek. I don't know shit. I tried to do research.
We're trying to learn, though.
So
we're doing our
much
best
to read. Please correct me, but don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
All right. The pilot is called In Thy Image.
Okay. Sounds cool.
And they start working on it. They're building sets. And then 2.5 weeks before filming is about to start, Logan, they decide it's going to be a movie. Let's do a movie instead.
Wow. Fucking crazy.
So, yeah, it is fucking wild. And this is partly because Star Wars came out, but it was like a surprise hit. They're like, wow, how well did this fucking movie do? But then what convinced them was actually Close Encounters. Because that comes out pretty soon after Star Wars, and that's a big hit too. So they're like, maybe the zeitgeist is space shit.
Yeah. But it has to be entertaining, is my thing. Sorry.
I know I got a text from you saying the first one was boring.
I was very bored.
I get the first time I watched the first movie, I thought it was boring as shit.
A lot of times you're just like listening to score, watching like things travel through space. That's like an hour and a half of the movie. I'm not exaggerating. I
know.
I was so bored.
Did you like the second one more?
I definitely liked it more.
Okay, good.
Especially that reveal that when Darth Vader told Luke he was his father. That was really something, I thought.
Did you watch The Empire Strikes Back by accident?
On purpose, because I didn't want to watch any more Star Trek. No, I liked Wrath of Khan more. I didn't recognize that guy as Montalban.
Yeah, Ricardo. We covered him in a Planet of the Apes film.
I was like, I'm gonna recognize him for sure. We just talked about, well, that was like a year and a half ago. And then he came out. He was I didn't realize how much later this was. He was looking a lot older.
Yeah.
But he was cool.
All right, so they get Robert Wise to direct the movie. All right. And they're like, if it's gonna be a movie, we gotta get Spock back.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
we could get away with doing a new TV show, no Spock, but like if we're doing a whole big budget movie with the original cast, we got to get Leonard Nimoy. So Jeffrey Katzenberg was like an executive at Paramount at the time. It was his job to go to Leonard Nimoy and beg on his hands and knees, please make our Star Trek movie. And Leonard Nimoy was like, give me some money, like some back money from the sitcom, from the syndication shit, you know? And Katzenberg was like, anything you want. So they got Leonard Nimoy.
They should have done that with Robert Duvall for The Godfather 3.
They really should have.
Anything you fucking want, Robert Duvall. We're not making this shit without you.
Yeah. The hubris of those people. All right. So Leonard Nimoy's in. Robert Wise is directing. Robert Wise, a legendary fucking filmmaker.
Yeah, I was looking at his filmography. Very impressive. All right.
Got his start as an editor. He edited a Citizen Kane.
Seriously?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Then goes on to be a director. His first film is like the sequel to Cat People.
The Curse of the Cat People.
Yeah, yeah.
And could we do that?
Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Is that a Paul Schrader movie? Is that a Cat People movie?
That's the remake of the original. Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. So
he did a Body Snatcher. He did Day the Earth Stood Still.
I don't know that Body Snatcher is like a body snatcher.
Oh, well.
But he
did West Side Story. The Haunting.
He does The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is like his first big genre movie, and that's like considered one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever. Then he like,
have you seen it? Is it
makes his good? Yeah, it's great. Then he makes his name in Hollywood. He does The Sound of Music. This guy directed The Sound of Music.
He did West Side Story before that, though.
Oh, that was before Sound of Music?
Yeah.
Well, all right. So he made the West Side Story. That sucked. And then
one Best Picture.
Then he got Sound of Music based on that. Really got his shit together, made a classic.
The Haunting between them.
The Haunting,
yeah. Sand Pebbles.
That's the thing about this guy. Like he's made some real prestige shit, like Sound of Music and the Sand Pebbles, but like he's always had his toe in like the genre waters.
But I'll tell you why I think he got it, because The Day the Earth Stood Still, but then The Andromeda Strain. Isn't that a big sci-fi movie?
Yes, that came out.
That was in 1971.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Sorry, no, that's all right. And that movie is, I've seen it 3 times. That's not many.
That's many times.
Okay, and it is so slow and so boring.
No, really?
I love that movie, but you really, watching Star Trek the Motion Picture, I was like, this has the exact same pacing as the Andromeda Strain.
They should have said like the Andromeda Strain, but faster. They should have thought of that. Pace, do it a little bit quicker. It's also so long. It's 2 hours 20 minutes long. There's also the Hindenburg. Have you seen that?
No,
that seems exciting. That better not be boring too. Somebody let me know if the Hindenburg is boring.
That's the movie that George is watching in Seinfeld. When he likes to go to the theater when that movie's playing, and he says like, it's gonna blow, and get a big laugh.
Oh, that's hilarious. George C. Scott.
No, I was talking about George Costanza.
Right.
You think the C in George C. Scott stands for Costanza?
Yeah, that's canon.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You think it stands for canon?
Yeah, canon. His final film was Storm in Summer, 2000. He was still going.
Yeah.
That's have you seen that?
No.
Nobody I follow has seen that. Peter Falk.
Wow.
Woman Under the Influence guy.
Yeah, Columbo.
That's true.
All right, so they make the movie. All right. It's written by Harold Livingston. It's got a story credit by Alan Dean Foster. These are people that were just going to be like writing on that TV phase 2, but like, they got drafted in when it became a movie.
Sort of like that Star Wars animated movie. That was just going to be a show, and then they were like, no, movie. Let's stretch the pilot out to a movie, which I still haven't seen that. The Clone Wars.
Oh, horrible.
That's what I've heard.
Although people say that the TV show got pretty good.
Yeah, my brother watched it, I believe.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to my brother. I don't know if he's listening. It's his birthday today. I doubt he's listening. He's not a Trekkie or anything.
Well, happy birthday, Riley Adair.
Yeah, I have two
That's his
brothers. It's
name, right?
crazy. You got the one that's
Well,
his
that's the only
birthday.
one whose name I know.
True, true. The other one's like a MAGA Nazi, so we don't really talk
Great,
about him
great.
too much.
What's his name?
No, we don't have to talk about him.
No, come on.
No, we don't have to talk about
All
him.
right, all right, all right. So this comes out December 7th, 1979.
Tim was
It
there.
was he?
That was just an old joke. I don't even know if he was
Oh, yeah.
born or not.
Great. It has an enormous fucking budget of $44 million. I think it was like one of the biggest budget movies that had ever been made by like the Hollywood system at that point,
Okay.
which is so weird considering it's based on a canceled TV show.
That makes sense.
And
It's a known IP, you know?
that wasn't really as
You
much of
throw
a
it
thing
money.
back then. Like
It
because
makes sense now. Yeah.
IPs were allowed to disappear back then. I really don't know what this would have been like in that era. I kept thinking watching the movie about how cool that must have been. If you like watch Star Trek on TV in the 60s and then 10 years later there was this huge budget movie by like the guy that directed The Sound of Music. Like
I mean,
that
it's
is
probably like
so
when you saw the Avengers. You don't think it's probably like the same thing?
no,
It's
but
even
the
by your
Avengers is
guy.
based on like books and shit. Like the closest thing I could think of was when they made Firefly into a movie. Like
Or X
Firefly got
Files?
canceled, but X Files like it had an ending. It ran for 9 seasons in
Okay,
a
sorry.
movie. You know, like so like something that was canceled unceremoniously and then brought back. That happened to Firefly, but the movie came out like probably 2 years after the show got canceled.
Yeah.
So like
Didn't
it's
have
not
time to
like I
die fully.
yeah
Lay
and
dormant.
right. It was like still kind of in the nerd zeitgeist
Aren't they
at
doing a
least.
community movie? Did I make that up?
They've been talking about that for years. Yeah,
I thought they were really going forward though. That'd be kind
yeah.
of like that, maybe.
I'll believe that when I see it, but I hope so.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
the whole thing with that show, like they said it many times on the show, 6 seasons in a movie.
Did they get to
Um,
6 seasons?
yeah, they got 6 seasons
Oh, they
just
got to
in the
do it
movie.
then. That's
Yeah,
bullshit if they don't do
hmm
it. They got to get the Russo brothers back.
yeah. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. That'd be so
Although,
cool.
could they now? I feel like they would have come
Those
back to
guys
do
got
it
to
at some
drop their
point.
ego and just do it.
Agreed. What else are you doing? The Electric State?
That's exactly and that show got them the Avengers, didn't it? They were like, "Whoa, these guys are great at action." The
Yeah,
paintball
the
shit.
paintball episodes. Yeah.
They got to go back, or else that'd
Ag-
be like uh, Mary Kate and Ashley not going back to Fuller House.
Do they not?
They didn't go back,
Never.
never.
Wow.
And in the first episode, they're like, "Where's Michelle?" And they're like, "She's off, too busy for the family." And they all look into the camera. That's just
So
the
bad.
wildest thing ever. Like they're all standing, every member of the family is standing in the kitchen, and they all look in the camera simultaneously
Like
in
fuck you, Olsen
disgust at
twins.
Mary Kate and Ashley. Yeah,
I watched the first episode of Fuller House,
and
but
you saw that moment.
I probably did. I was pretty drunk though.
Mm-mm.
Um, only alcohol could get me to watch something like that.
Well, maybe that's why you stopped. You weren't in a clear head. If you were in a clear head, you
No,
would have
no,
kept going.
I stopped because it was god awful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So on the $44 million budget, it makes $139 million. They're happy about it, but they wanted it to be a little bigger.
It's almost 100 million.
Yeah. So basically, the plan is they're like, all right, it was a hit, but the only way we can make a second one is if we drastically cut that budget.
Okay.
All right. So that's the plan. But the
You can't
movie,
tell.
yeah, no, they did a great job. The movie does $139 million. It comes in at number 4 at the box office for the year. Number 5 was Alien, so it did better than Alien.
Oh wow, yeah. I forgot about
And the only movies that beat it at the box office were Kramer versus Kramer, The Amityville Horror, and Rocky 2.
What order is that in?
That's the order.
Kramer versus Kramer is one.
Yeah,
Well, what a time!
I
Kramer
know.
versus Kramer is the best movie of the year.
Yeah, just like a small scale drama
Well,
about
I think
divorce. That
when
could
did
never happen today.
I think the latest that happened was like 3 Men and a Baby. Wasn't that the number one movie that year?
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically the latest that happened is American Sniper.
Yeah, but even that, it's like action.
It's not super actiony.
No, you're right, but you would think it is. That's how you get the butts in the seats. I'm sure the trailer is actiony.
Yeah, but I think people like kept seeing it out of like a sense
They
of,
did go back.
democracy.
Yeah,
Which is weird because the people that really liked that movie a lot are trying to dismantle democracy now.
but it's something they connect to. A guy who wants to better
Kill
America
people.
by killing people.
Yeah. All right. Logan,
Yep.
let's get into it. Give me, well, you just thought it was boring. So,
I mean, yeah, it was a little bit boring.
but it's a wild movie. Like, I think the issue with it really is you're too, and the issue I've always had with it, because watching it last night, I enjoyed this more than I had previously.
That's good. I'm sure I
All
will
right,
too in the future.
if you watch it.
I'll watch
Um,
it again.
but yeah, I think the expectation with Star Trek is gonna
You
be,
told me last week it's gonna be boring, and I was excited for that. And then it was like
well,
way more boring than I even thought.
I was trying to prepare you.
Yeah.
But I think like in general, the expectation with a Star Trek movie is it's gonna be an action movie. There's gonna be like space battles, and the characters are gonna be like funny with each other and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is really hewing closer to like 2001 A Space Odyssey. Like it's a very self-serious epic sci-fi film asking big questions about God and living and why are we all here, and it's thinky and it's talky and it really
But
takes its
Blade
time.
Runner's like that, and I'm more entertained by Blade Runner than this movie, probably. I'm sure that's like 30 minutes shorter as well.
You know what, I'll take this over Blade Runner.
Okay, I thought you might. It's
um
it's probably close. No,
but
I
anyway,
think I like Blade Runner substantially more. There
anyway
is a Decker. Is that his name in Blade Runner? Harrison Ford?
yeah, Deckard.
Deckard. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Decker was actually, there's a character in like one episode of the original series named Decker. And so like in like Gene Roddenberry wrote a novelization of the first movie, and in that they confirm like he's the son of that character from
Oh wow.
the original. Yeah.
Okay.
He adds a lot of little lore. Um so the movie opens with like 3 minutes
Oh, true. Black
of
screen.
just an overture. Like you're like going slowly through space, and they're playing like a score. And the
Mm.
score is cool. It's Jerry Goldsmith, but like
It just beat me down at a certain point, though.
I get it. I get it. Because there's a lot of score. And part of that is because there's so many like slow sequences. Like they really, the scene where they like first go up into the Enterprise, they really
Him and
take
that
their
guy,
time.
like in that room, they like take me through space, and they just
Right,
like
right.
look around for a half an hour.
It's the whole ship. Like you really see everything. There's no dialogue. It's just Jerry Goldsmith's score and establishing
There are
shots.
some cool visuals.
And
I'm not
yeah,
gonna.
no. It's majestic, like legitimately. But he definitely takes his time with it.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, you know what I didn't do? The awards.
Oh, won some awards.
Yeah, can I go back to that?
Yeah, what did it win?
It was actually nominated for 3 Oscars.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Best music, Jerry Goldsmith. He lost to A Little Romance, which kind of sucks. Best art direction, lost to All That Jazz.
Cool.
Your favorite movie of all time.
One of them.
And best visual effects, it lost to Alien. All right. It was also nominated for score at the Golden Globes, but lost to Apocalypse Now. And then here's where we get into it. This is going to be a nightmare for this franchise. Obviously, the Saturn Awards fucking love Star Trek.
Yeah,
All right.
Absolutely.
So every single Star Trek movie is nominated for a ton of these fucking things.
Do they win any?
I'm not sure this one. Oh, it did win visual effects, but not much. The Wrath of Khan won a thing or two. But so it was nominated for best science fiction film. It lost to Alien. William Shatner was nominated for best actor, and he lost to George Hamilton for Love at First Bite, which was like a Dracula comedy, I guess.
Isn't
Um,
that who they get in The Godfather 3?
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Uh, Persis Kambata, who plays Ilea, and
Okay.
she gets a credit in the opening credits. It's not even introducing it's presenting Persis
Really?
Kambata. I've never seen that before in my life.
We should do a podcast presenting, but it's just one episode
One
about Persis
episode.
Kambata. There wasn't introducing in the second movie, Kirstie Alley. Did you catch that?
Yep, and introducing Kirstie Alley, and Ricardo Montalban also got an and starring
Yeah, that
Ricardo
was neat.
Montalban. Yeah.
I like that.
All right. So she's nominated for Best Actress. She loses to Mary Steenburgen for Time After Time, which
Wow.
is directed by Nicholas. That's the first film directed by Nicholas Meyer, who follows it up with Star Trek 2.
Okay, very cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
Leonard Nimoy.
Steenburgen. I didn't know she was acting back then.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's been around.
That's
Leonard
wild.
Nimoy was nominated for supporting actor, and he lost to Art Johnson, who plays Renfield in Love at First Bite. Nichelle Nichols is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She has like nothing to do in this movie, and I don't think she's very good with what they give her.
She
So
can
I
wear the hell out of
assume,
that costume,
I
though.
assume that's only because the voters of the Saturn Awards jerked off to her 10 years earlier.
I think that you're probably right about that.
Yeah. So
Uhura. I like her. She's cool though. She has like a lot of authority.
sure. And like it's awesome that the female lead of the show was a black woman in the 60s. That's
That's
baller.
true. That's a good point.
But like I was not impressed with the show.
No.
Anyway, she lost Best Supporting Actress to Veronica Cartwright for Alien. And Wise lost director to Ridley Scott for Alien. Music, they lost to Time After Time. Costumes, they lost to Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Makeup, they lost to Love at First Bite. They won visual effects. And also, this year at the Saturn Awards, they gave Lifetime Achievement Awards to both Gene Roddenberry and William Shatner.
Wow, very cool. The first movie just had to come out. Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, I mean, they've been around a while.
True. Gene, that's a cool name. Gene Roddenberry.
Sure.
If that was a trivia question, I would have never known that. Who created Star Trek? I would have just
Gene
been like,
Roddenberry.
I don't know. Now I know though. Gene Roddenberry.
Who created the Twilight Zone?
I don't know.
Really?
No idea. Who is it? So
Rod
I'll know that.
Serling.
Rod Serling. I've heard that name.
Yeah. All right. All right. So now let's get back into
No love for George Takei.
Can I talk about George Takei?
Yeah.
It's my LVP.
Oh no.
I can't stand George Takei. And
oh my. And
yeah, yeah, I know. You ever have a friend, or maybe not a friend, but someone you know who's like you agree with everything they say, like they nail, like they're right about everything, and but they go about it in the most annoying way possible.
I think I might be this way. I'm constantly right, yet I'm annoying.
But I mean,
I sort of feel this way, Andy Herron a bit. I usually agree with Andy. I just find him unbelievably annoying sometimes.
There you go.
But I like Andy. That. I like Andy.
But it's like politically, George Takei was like in ahead of his time liberal. He's like fought the power for years. He's an out and proud gay man.
I didn't know that.
He fucking hates Trump.
Why does he say "oh my"? Is that a character thing?
I just think like these people from these Star Trek movies, they get known for like I don't think many of them are very good actors. And then they get remembered for like their silly intonations and stuff. You know, it's funny, like Shatner, you know, people always do that Shatner impression where it's like, I'm going into space.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and
I would grow my arm hair like really high if I
great.
was doing a William Shatner impression. I
I
noticed that.
I've seen Shatner in movies and TV before, and I've never noticed that. Like, we did Miss Congeniality on the show. I thought Shatner was really funny in those
He was,
movies.
yeah, I
I
agree.
I
He's in both of them, isn't he?
Yeah, he was in like The Practice and then got spun off into Boston Legal. He won like Emmys for that show. I never got what that impression was about. And then I'm watching this first movie last night and I'm like, oh my God, he's totally doing that.
I didn't really catch it, but I was
It's
unaware of the impression,
such
really.
a fucking strange performance.
I think it is a strange performance, but he's really committed to what he's doing, whatever it is that he's doing, I think.
I
I never
know.
feel like he's slipping where I'm like looking at just a guy, William Shatner. I'm always looking
But
at Kirk.
really, the only person in the entire cast where I'm like, that dude is acting level to like the caliber of movie they're making is Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, he's like I might win an Oscar like Alec Guinness or get a nomination like Alec
Right.
Guinness. If I
I think he's a really good actor. Whereas like everybody else, like I really like DeForest Kelly, who plays Bones.
Okay.
You know, it's definitely my second favorite character named Bones.
Right.
And I but
He was he's really good.
he does feel like a TV guy.
Fair.
Like it feels like he's like a perfect TV actor. And then he's just like in this giant movie.
I like James Doohan also. He was very funny.
Who's that?
He played Scotty. Isn't it Beam Me Up, Scotty? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, he's all right.
I like
him. You know, he's basically just an accent. And
I didn't know what he was doing actually. Was he Irish?
He's Scottish.
Oh,
That's
Scotty.
why he's Scotty.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And Simon Pegg plays him in the Abrams.
Oh, cool.
And then you got like Chekhov, and he's doing like a Russian accent. I don't think that actor's Russian.
I was waiting for
like
him
it was
to
a weird accent.
Did that never happen?
Oh God, Chekhov's gun. Good.
I was wondering, like, is this about? Did he have a gun? Is there actually going to be a thing with him? But no.
You know, and like I was almost, even though he's a pedophile, I was actually like genuinely thankful for Stephen Collins's presence in the movie because he's at home in a movie. Like he's a good actor. And like,
but isn't he from a show too? Wasn't he the dad on the show?
Eventually he becomes known for like Seventh Heaven and shit, but he was in movies for years and years before that.
Okay. Yeah. So he's up to the caliber here.
I think so, man. Like I you know,
I did like Ilya. I
thought she was really good too.
She was really good. Persis Khambato.
And once she gets all like aliened out or whatever, roboted out, that little voice effect they give her is like sort of disturbing.
Oh, they're gonna say sexy. Oh, no. In a good way. Well, disturbing in a good way. That might be sexy to you.
Shut up.
Yeah. I was way into her. Yeah, and she got to play two sort of different things.
Yeah, she was interesting. I looked her up. She was Miss India. Wow. In the Miss Universe pageant in like the 60s at some point. And you know, she was like then she became a big Bollywood star.
That's incredible.
And they put her in this movie. She didn't do that many movies in America, but she did a few. But I read that she was a chain smoker. Like she just like never stopped smoking cigarettes.
That's why she died before 50.
Yeah, she ended up dying of her heart failed at 49.
I was just about to look up how she died at 49. Yeah. Very sad.
Yeah, really sad. But I did like her. I thought she was like so it was this awkward thing where I was really enjoying it. I was getting into Star Trek, and it was like I want to watch fucking Star Trek. I want to go watch the show. But really, most of the characters I was into were the new characters.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that these were new characters.
The rest of them get more of a focus in the second movie, and so you're able to sort of like fall in love with them a little more there. But like in this first one, like dudes like Chekhov and Nichelle Nichols and Scotty, like they're little more than set dressing.
Is Khan from the show, or was all
Khan's
that
in
whole story completely made up?
Khan is in one episode of the show. So all the backstory they're giving you is just that one episode.
Played by Montalban or who?
Yes.
Wow. That's very cool. So that must be even cooler being a fan, going in seeing like all that from if that's like your favorite episode. Imagine that's your favorite
Yeah.
episode.
Be amazing. It'd be like if they made a fucking Buffy movie now and like the lead would like well, I was gonna say John Ritter is Ted, but John Ritter's dead.
He is
But
the
someone else, or maybe they bring back Wentworth Miller from that episode.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. He's still acting. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But should we get into like the plot or we don't care about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's it's sort of like amorphous though. Like there's an energy field coming to Earth.
Yeah.
We get like one shot of Earth, by the way, and it's like San Francisco with just some like shit flying around it.
Yeah, that's a good way to depict it. What would you
right.
show?
I was fine with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have to get on the Enterprise to go uh figure out what the fuck this thing is.
That's
And
right. And Kirk takes over.
Kirk takes over. Like Stephen Collins is the commander of the Enterprise, the captain or whatever. But Shatner's like an admiral in the Starfleet at this point.
Yeah.
And so he
Admiral. Admiral. I like how Khan said admiral in the second movie.
So he has the ability to just go in and like take control. And Collins is like, "What the fuck, bro?
I thought I was in charge."
And
man.
Shatner's like, "Eat shit."
Yeah,
pretty much. And then like when that bald girl shows up, Ilia, Stephen Collins had a relationship with her on like her planet.
That's why I thought this was all
back
from the show.
No, that's all invented for this movie. And cool. Fucking I love his reaction as like he sees her walk onto the ship and then immediately like turns to Shatner and it's like, don't fuck with me. Like, please let me look cool in front of her.
Don't like do the like bunny ears on my head or none of that stuff. I gotta look like the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he becomes so in love with her that he decides to leave Earth. Not leave Earth, but leave being a human.
Right.
Meld with her and become like a space being or whatever. I don't even understand what was happening.
That was a crazy shot.
Love conquers all, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. Although, I mean, like, it's wild. Like, he loved her, I guess, but he also like left that planet without saying goodbye to her, ostensibly because it would be like too hard or whatever. And it's like, man, you can like get to a place where you can leave somebody behind without saying goodbye, and then like within a couple days of them being back on at work with you, like you'd kill yourself to be with them in some sort of weird amorphous setting.
Yeah, you either love them or you don't. You either have to be with them. Well, that's like the heat thing. Don't get too close to something you can't leave in like
maybe
5 minutes.
Maybe he realized how much he loved her, like when she died.
Yeah, when something.
Yeah, she gets like teleported. There's like this
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Great, yeah. There's like a thing, and she gets taken away and dies. And then comes back as
that light going through like their spaceship, and then it like zapped her.
Yeah, there's a lot of trippy shit.
A lot of cool visuals,
man. Yeah,
like their faces.
That part,
like,
oh my god, and the
that was like Dune. I thought that was like Dune.
It was crazy shit. When Nimoy also is like going through the ship and like seeing like images of V'ger's home planet and shit. That's wild.
Yeah, I think I was a little bored by that. That was like that was so long. You know, that was just back to the score playing, and we're just watching Spock like go through space.
I'm down, man. I'm down with it. Yeah. And so anyway, it's this creature V'ger, and then it turns out at the end, it is silly. I agree with you here.
Voyager. That was like the.
But why would
Iris.
the thing think his name? Because like they get to the thing, and it's there's a big plate that says Voyager. It's like the NASA Voyager that they sent out, and the Oya is like
Marked out.
blacked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just says V'ger, and it's like, oh, that's why he thinks his name is V'ger. But like, if he's like a robot, why would he think his name is V'ger? He can only know his own name from
Yeah, is
looking
he
at
not
that plate.
programmed with any
Yeah.
knowledge of what he is? He has to. I would have to read. I would have to like look at like my name stitched into my shirt to know my name is Logan.
Yeah.
That's like
That's insane.
I stitched my name in. I don't think I've ever told you that. Have I ever told you that?
All your shirts?
All my shirts, I stitch my name in case you lose it, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So and my address and my phone number.
Oh, that's not a great idea.
Well, I do it just in case I lose it.
Okay.
It doesn't happen a lot. It's actually never happened. I don't know why I continue to do it. Anyway,
Hey, listen. I gotta say, I think Nolan. Somebody asked me how much money I need to get to WrestleMania.
yeah, I forgot who.
All right. Text me. Let's talk about it.
Okay,
All right.
there we go.
Do you know my phone number? If you don't, comment on the Patreon again, and I'll get back.
Or DM us on the Patreon. That's a thing you can do.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, it is. I've done that before. Anyway, back to this movie.
Mm-hmm. That's basically it. They merge together and we go
it's
off
a whole
on
philosophical thing. Like, we're the creators. How do we convince him of that? Like, and then they do.
Yeah, and they merge together because they love each other.
It's complicated and smart, though. I'm just too dumb to put it into words here.
Maybe also, when we watch it again, we'll talk about what I'm watching here.
What'd you all right, so what do you want to grade this one?
I think I don't want to just be like it's boring too. So I think you got to go at least 3.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. And visually I was sort of like, whoa, that's so cool. I've never seen something like that before. So that was cool. Who's the MVP?
I think Leonard Nimoy.
He's not in it that much though.
Well, if I'm not giving it to Leonard Nimoy, I'm giving it to Stephen Collins. So I'm giving it to Leonard Nimoy.
Holy shit. I was gonna do just gotta go LVP Stephen Collins. Unless you want to go actually
LVP George Takei.
Ooh,
George Takei is such an annoying person that even though he's a liberal and a revolutionary,
so being an annoying guy is worse than the pedophile?
Yeah.
Disagree. Planting my flag. I'm gonna go say pedophilia is worse than being a little annoying.
To each their own.
Each their own. Yeah, we've said how we feel.
Yeah.
So
all right. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah. LVP Shatner's arm hair. That's what I actually think.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't get over it. That was crazy.
It is very prominent.
It goes up so high. Fucking shave your shoulders, dude.
He's an ape. All right.
Montalban's gonna try to like take him to sell him.
Good job. I got a phone call from my mom during this podcast. Can I just give her a quick call back?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to leave mom hanging.
Yeah.
Should I call my mom? Wrath of Khan. I was watching the first movie expecting Khan to show up. Because I was like, what's he going to be wrathing in the second movie if I don't even know who the fuck he is? I was pretty confused by that.
That's funny.
And then they just like came up with a story. But I guess that wasn't made up because it was in the show.
Yeah, there's like an episode of the show called Space Seed or something. It's referencing that.
Cool.
Okay. So
a lot of people in Hollywood were spaceyed. A lot of kids.
That's sad. Michael Rapp. Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp. Sorry, I was thinking of Michael Rappaport.
Right, Anthony Rapp, yeah.
All right, so listen. After this, they're like, what do we do with this franchise? Gene Roddenberry's like, don't worry, I've got you covered. But like, meanwhile, everyone at Paramount's like, we're pretty sure the movie didn't do better because of Gene Roddenberry. Maybe this dude works better on television. He seems to really favor long, boring, slow stuff.
Damn.
And with no action sequences. So they're like, take a shot at it, buddy. So he writes a script. They look at it. They're like, yeah, this is boring and slow. They immediately reject it. Um, and then this fella, Herb Bennett, who's a producer, he writes an outline called The War of the Generations. And this includes Khan and Kirk's son. And that becomes what they're gonna work on.
I don't know if I liked Kirk's son too much.
I'm not so sure about that either. I also thought it was so weird that like all of a sudden, like I don't know. I just feel like if you spend your whole life not knowing your dad, you're gonna have some like daddy issues. But like this dude, like like Kirk, you know, saves them from Khan or whatever, and he's just immediately like, Kirk, you were the fucking man. I love you. You're the best dad a guy could ask for. Even though
Is that the
I've
thing?
never
He doesn't
seen you
really know him
once in
that
my
well.
life. Kirk didn't know he existed.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Huh.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right,
that's
but
actually a
anyway,
good point. You would have a lot of. You wouldn't just be so forgiving. Like,
yeah. So anyway,
but your dad is so cool. He's like the leader. He led everyone to beat the bad guy. I think he
he's
probably would.
I don't know, man. If my dad was like the admiral of like the Navy or whatever, I'd be like, fuck this bootlicker.
But this isn't the Navy. This is
Basically
like
is.
no, the Navy is like one faction of the military. This is like this guy. He's the top dog. This is like
I
if
don't think he's the top dog at Starfleet. He's just
he just beat
he's
Khan. That's what I'm talking about. He
all
defeated
right,
the
all
number
right.
one. He killed Hitler or whatever. That's basically what just happened.
Fair enough.
I think I'd forgive my dad.
I guess so. Anyway, so it's then they get this guy Jack B. Sowards
Wow.
to write the script, and he changes the name to the Omega Syndrome. But then because and in his script, that's the Genesis device was called the Omega device. That's why the name.
Okay.
And he creates the Kirstie Alley character, but it's a man in his script.
I didn't remember Kirstie Alley all that much. What'd she do?
What are you talking about? She's a Vulcan. She's doing the Kobayashi Maru at the beginning. She's training to be a captain. She talks to Shatner a few times. At one point, she changes her hair, and they're like, "Hey, you changed your hair."
Oh, of course.
That's what you remembered?
No, I looked up a photo. No, sorry.
All right. Anyway, so all right. So then they hire Nicholas Meyer, and they're like, we have 12 days to fix this script, and not only do you have to fix it, you have to make it so it's going to cost $8.5 million.
Wow.
That's all we're giving this movie.
They better give this guy a bonus because after what he pulled off.
Yeah. And so Nicholas Meyer says, I can do it. He then turns in the script in like a couple days, doesn't need all 12.
There's John Hughes over here.
Yeah. And they're like, it's great. Can you direct it? And he's like, absolutely. So he goes and directs it. He had done Time After Time, which is like it's like a time travel movie where Jack the Ripper comes to present day. It's pretty good. And
that's all he had done in the movie.
Yeah, that's all he had done. Then he does this, and then he does The Day After, which was like a really enormous TV movie or miniseries. And but he never had a big career. He does come back to Star Trek to do the 6th movie, though.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The Undiscovered Country.
The Undiscovered Country. So that's this guy. And they like his script so much that they're like, you know what? We'll give you 12 million.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. They raised his budget a little bit.
He directed Gene Hackman in Company Business. Shout out with Kurtwood Smith.
Oh, yeah. Did he also direct Tom Hanks in Volunteers?
I think he did do Volunteers. Yep, Volunteers
Yeah.
and The Deceivers,
Hmm.
Vendetta, and The Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Vendetta was another big TV movie.
That
He
was his
did,
last one.
yeah, he did some TV shit. But that's Nicholas Meyer. He'll always be well known for Wrath of Khan and Time After Time. And he so he makes this movie. It comes out June 4th, 1982. Oh, here, you want to know another fun fact about Nicholas Meyer?
Yeah, I have a trivia question actually to ask you after this.
Really?
Yeah, I thought of it earlier when we were talking. Let me write it
Yeah,
down
I
so I
feel
don't
like you're
forget.
distracted, so just do yours, and I
No,
have
no,
mine
you
written down.
okay? In the new films, who plays Kirk's father?
Chris Hemsworth.
Good job. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
All right. Nicholas Meyer. This is a fun fact about him. His daughter is currently engaged to Kristen Stewart.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
What's her name? Something Meyer?
I don't remember. I actually don't think it is something Meyer. It's
Oh,
something she like came up with a
Stephanie
stage.
Meyer. Imagine.
Can you imagine if
I
Kristen
think it's the
Stewart
same
was
spelling,
engaged to
right?
fucking Stephanie Meyer? That is hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Um all right. So June 4th, 1982, $12 million budget, makes 97 million at the box office, which is less than the first one, but it's a much bigger profit. And so it comes in at number 6 at the box office for the year, between Porky's and 48 Hours.
Ooh, never seen Porky's. Is
You
that
gotta
funny?
cover that. There's 3 of them.
No way. Is that
Yeah.
funny?
It's okay. It's a little rapey, I guess, but
That's what I think I've ever seen.
every comedy was back then.
Take what you can get, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's Porky's 2 the next day, and Porky's Revenge.
I've heard of that one.
That's the trilogy.
Love the next day concept. More
Me
sequels
too.
should be the next day.
Oh, could not agree more.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah. That's the only way I'd want to see like Super Bad 2 the next day.
Well, we can't do that now, but
Yeah, no, I know. But
that's why I like
would be the only option.
That's why I like The Incredibles too, because it was 14 years later, but it took place immediately after the last movie.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
so
fun.
into that idea.
Mm-hmm. What else? I feel like there's other movies that do the next day.
Well, the top 25 sequels that take place the next day.
Ooh, that could be a
I don't know if there are 25.
Can I Google sequels that take place on the next day?
Yeah, I'll do it too.
All right.
We'll make an edit right here.
12 sequels.
Oh, here. Oh, Halloween 2. That's immediately after.
You're right. Halloween 2 is the
Karate
same
Kid
night.
2,
It's
apparently.
not even the next day. Yeah, Karate Kid 2 starts the next day.
Apparently, Spider-Man No Way Home. Apparently,
right.
Quantum of Solace.
Back to the Future 2.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, John Wick. One of those movies.
Crank High Voltage.
Apparently, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Okay.
Revolutions and Reloaded. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the second and third though. I'm more looking for a sequel.
Oh, The Last Jedi is right after The Force Awakens. He throws the thing.
But again, that's like part of a whole saga.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so listen. Awards? All right. This one wasn't involved with the Oscars or the Golden Globes or anything, but the Saturn Awards are back, baby.
Yay.
All right. So it was nominated for Best Science Fiction Film, but it lost to E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
Oh, good.
Okay. William Shatner won Best Actor.
He beat Elliot.
Honestly, yeah, he was nominated. The kid who played Elliot. I'm not joking. I looked. The more impressive thing though is, listen to this. Best Director. Nicholas Meyer wins Best Director at the Saturn Awards. Here's who he beat. Are you ready? Steven Spielberg for E.T.
Bullshit.
Ridley Scott for Blade Runner. George Miller for The Road Warrior, and Tobe Hooper for Poltergeist, or as you would argue, Steven Spielberg for the Poltergeist.
I wouldn't. I just like to make that joke.
I know.
That It's crazy. That obviously should have gone to Steven Spielberg.
Or any of those people. It's insane that Nicholas Meyer won against those
That's
people.
awesome. That's so
Yeah.
good.
All right, Walter Koenig, who plays Chekhov, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he lost to Richard Lynch for The Sword and the Sorcerer. And then Kirstie Alley was nominated for Supporting Actress. She lost to Zelda Rubinstein for Poltergeist.
Okay.
And then it lost writing to E.T., costumes to Tron, and makeup to Poltergeist.
You guys never did Tron, did you?
No. It's a new one coming out soon.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot about that. I like that choice of Chekhov. He is good in this one when he gets like zapped when he like his he's working for the bad side or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, those little bugs.
Remember I told you I got stood up on a date to see Tron Legacy?
I couldn't have told you that was the movie.
That's all I think about when I think about Tron. Is
Did you
getting
go
stood
by
up on that
yourself?
date. No, I went home.
Have you not seen it?
Nope.
Wow. Too the wound is too open.
Yep.
Can't do it. Did you never talk to her again?
No.
Did you see her in school?
It wasn't school. I was like a grown man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like we were like talking every day leading up to the date, like texting constantly, and then all of a sudden didn't show up, never saw her again.
Just ghosted you. Was ghosting a thing yet?
Not really.
Damn, she's the original ghoster. That's wild. That's sad.
So you watched Ghost?
Oh, I did. Yeah, because we'll do a 1990 at some point. I gotta watch some of these 1990 movies.
Right.
All right. It was good.
All right. So give me your tell me about the Wrath of Khan.
All right. We didn't talk about in the first movie, did we? Spock is like going through training. Is that the first movie?
Spock is
he like fails
we first meet him on Vulcan and he's got like cool longer hair. Leonard Nimoy was awesome. Badass as shit. And basically it's like the final training of a Vulcan to like let go of all of their emotions and just become a complete fucking logic machine.
But he can't do it.
A sociopath
until the end, I guess. Until right, he sacrifices himself.
He never does it though. Like he sacrifices himself to save the people he loves. Like he's not supposed to love people.
But he tells Shatner that was all logical.
I know. But he, you know, the reason he stays on the Enterprise past the first movie is that he realizes like his life isn't complete without the things that
like Han Solo. That's why he came back and saved the day. Han
Solo is an incredibly human person.
No, he didn't want to be. He wanted to be like, I don't want to let anybody in. Get out of here, princess. F you. Screw you guys.
I guess.
But then at the end, he comes back because he can't help it.
Yeah,
he's a scoundrel, but he's our scoundrel.
Yeah, so they remember at the end of the first movie, they're like, "Do you want us to bring you back to Vulcan on the way to Earth or whatever?" And he's like, "I have no further need to be on that planet.
Right?
I want to be here with my buds."
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's pretty psyched about that. It's a nice warm moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, the second one, this opens with the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, I never really knew what that was.
I always remember that as a thing. Like I always forget what it is, but I know that in Star Trek lore there is a thing called the Kobayashi Maru.
What that is
locked just and like, loaded in my brain.
The training that they're doing. That's what that's called.
It's a training exam where you it's like a no-win situation, and they have to see how you'll handle that. And
like helpless.
Yeah, later on Kirk says like the way he handled it, he said, I don't believe in no-win situations. He like hacked into the system and like changed the exam so that he could win. That's our boy Kirk.
That's awesome.
But at the opening, Kirstie Alley's character is going through the Kobayashi Maru, and all of our guys, Spock and Chekhov and fucking George Takei, they all have to pretend to die. And part of the reason they open with this is that a script had gotten leaked.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so Leonard Nimoy only agreed to come back for this movie if Spock could die.
Yeah. So he is like Han
And
Solo.
yeah, I guess.
That's exactly like it.
But they were gonna kill him in the first act, like early on, like fucking Janet Leigh and Psycho. And
That would be kind of
fucking
cool.
yeah, and so then it got pushed back, but it got leaked that he was gonna die. So they were like, let's fake everybody out, we'll have him die in like this opening sequence. And then he'll like wake up and be like, oh, everything's chill. That was just a training exercise.
That's really awesome. I feel like for a
Yeah.
split second I was tricked in the movie. I was like, whoa, all of our guys are
I
dying.
was too. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like we're gonna flash back from this point or something?
Yeah, but then I think like one of the like the main character died or like somebody too big died. I was like, all right, no, this is not real. And then it was
Yeah.
all, but they said that word Kobayashi Maru, and I was like, oh, that's like a thing I'd heard for my whole life. Never really knew what it was.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Now, so Nimoy agreed to come back to this one to die. The next movie is called The Search of Spock. We know Spock comes back, and I haven't read up on the next few movies yet, but I know that Leonard Nimoy directs the third and fourth movies, and I got to assume that was his deal. I'll come back again
That's
if you let me
sort of
direct.
awesome. Didn't Tim
Yeah.
say Shatner directs too?
Shatner directs the fifth one, which is, almost universally considered the worst of the original cast Star Trek movies.
So which one does Nimoy do then?
Nimoy does the third and fourth. So after this, Nimoy does the third and fourth, Shatner does the fifth, and then Nicholas Meyer comes back to do the sixth.
Okay, okay. So Nimoy must be in the next one a lot then.
Well, it's the search for Spock. So I don't I've never seen it. I've never seen
I
that
thought
one.
he'd be like the Luke Skywalker thing in the first Star Wars or in the Rises, whatever that movie was called, where he's like in it at the very end.
Maybe. Yeah, we probably I don't know when they find Spock in the search for
Yeah, maybe
Spock.
you don't know. That's the one you
Yeah.
haven't seen for some weird reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that? You don't know?
I don't know.
Just couldn't find it on DVD or something.
I own them on Blu-ray.
That's the craziest thing. You didn't see it.
Yeah.
So.
It's so
Maybe, and then
weird.
you started the franchise, and you were like, "Well, I'll never watch it until they
Yeah, that
cover it."
that's possibly what happened. Yeah. Um all right. So what happens next?
It's Kirk's birthday at some point. And they're
What
like,
he's
"Hey,
turning?
I don't know, 112 or something." Yeah, are they like really old?
No, they're just human
They're
beings.
just very okay. I mean, I don't know, but
He's like in his 40s, I guess.
the two red
Even though
shirt.
even though he's got a clear rug.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't notice. But Paul Winfield and Ricardo Montalban land on that planet, right?
It's like Cersei 5
No, no,
or
no. I wrote
something.
it down. They think it's SETI Alpha 6, but really it's SETI Alpha 5,
Hmm.
which was destroyed a long time ago by Kirk. And like a lot of people died, but the people that didn't die now live on like a desert land planet,
Right.
and there are these bug eel creatures that kill you. Or do they kill you or just fuck your brain up?
I don't know.
Maybe a lot of them
Uh,
kill you, but just the little ones they were using on Montalban were just like mind controlling him.
Yeah, and I guess Khan Montalban had a
Con.
Montalcan. He had a wife at some point, and she got killed, and he holds Kirk responsible for that. So when all of a sudden, like
We're just seeing
Chekhov,
flashbacks of them like running on the beach, having a beautiful relationship, him and his wife, like them in bed, like the John Wick, they show at the
right,
beginning.
and then it cuts to like her getting killed, and he goes like ah, and wakes up.
She screams, Con! And then she's dying. That'd be good.
Oh
But
boy.
no, we didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the story that we get. I should go back and watch that episode.
Space Seed, I think it's called. But yeah, he sees Chekhov and he recognizes him from like his encounter with the Enterprise all those years ago, and he's like, "Holy shit, I can use this guy to fuck with Kirk." So he
That's
does.
right.
He gets Chekhov to like pretend it's like call a fucking Starfleet ship and like, yo, we need this thing you got, the
Kirk
Genesis.
says that it's okay for me to do.
Yeah, Kirk says it's chill. That's where the orders come from. And
He's
they're
acting
like,
so weird though. How'd they not see through that? He's like, Kirk is telling me that it's
well,
okay.
to be fair, they do suspect that something's off,
They do,
but
you're right.
when they call Kirk, like Khan's fucked with like the communications, and so they can't get straight answers from him.
Yeah, he does. He comes back and says like they're gonna go to Kirk and ask him, and he's like, all right, well, I'll make sure they can't get to Kirk. You know,
Yeah.
they did that is all actually really well set up. I'm not gonna take anything from it. And they want to create a new planet for new life, Genesis. That's the whole thing. And then at the end, Spock lands on it. So did they not
His
know Spock was gonna
coffin.
land there at the end?
I don't know.
That'd be like the first place I go to look. Because like this,
In the search for Spock.
yeah, like because this whole movie is all about.
I bet you it. I
Genesis.
bet you it is. Here's my prediction. They're like somehow they find out Spock's alive, and they immediately go to that planet. They open up the coffin. He's not there.
Oh, and then they gotta search for him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they're not dummies. Like they're not like don't know it's on Genesis.
We'll see what happens.
We will
if
see.
if we watch a 2 hour movie next week
Oh
that ends with
God.
them showing up on fucking Genesis and finding Spock, I'll be like, these guys are dum dums.
Yeah, I'm a bunch of fucking idiots. Well, we'll see. But we did you like his BB Bash? The
What?
Kirk's ex wife or whoever that he had the baby with?
Oh, yeah, she was all right.
It's BB Bash and Merrick Buttrick. That's his family.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the son, but I liked her, and I
I
liked
liked her too.
the lady on the ship too.
I feel
I
like
thought there were good female characters in this one.
I know it wasn't to the extremes of Piranha 2 the spawning, but I feel
They
like they
looked
had
alike.
well, no, I don't want to say that, but I think that they like they had weird sexual chemistry, possibly the mother and the son.
Really, I didn't
Maybe
feel
a
that
little, not
way.
from her side, but I think from him. He like he wanted some of
I
BB
mean, it's
Bash.
probably like the only woman he's ever spent any time with.
You think Merritt Buttrick doesn't know any women? He's an actor.
No, I mean, I mean the character.
Oh,
You know, he's stuck on Alpha Ceti 5.
you think that was a character choice to act that way? I think that was just the actor didn't know how to act.
No, I agree, but I'm justifying it.
Oh, I don't want to justify that.
Okay.
That's stupid.
Okay.
I thought the space battles were cool. We got some more action, and it
Yeah,
was pretty
there
cool.
was a lot more pew pew in
Pew
this one.
pew. Yeah, which got me obviously as a dumb Star Wars fan.
Right, right.
I need some pew pews. So
Right. You know, I was content with all the philosophizing in the first one, but you were like,
right,
where are
fuck
the
that.
lasers?
Where are the laser swords? No, there are no lightsabers yet. Or
Not
no
yet.
R2D2. That's
Oh my god, the first shot of the first movie, like after the overture or whatever, you see like a spaceship and there's like a thing right on the hood that is shaped exactly like R2D2. And I was like,
oh
is that R2D2?
wow. That's a problem I think with this franchise. There's no cool creatures or robots or anything. It's just like these
There
like
are,
10
dude. We just
people
haven't
talking to
seen
each
them.
other.
There's Klingons are cool, but we
Oh, I've
only
heard
really
that.
see them at the beginning of the first movie.
Oh, those red guys.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was all like a silent movie. Like the good, like all the good guys were like had like a green light. All the bad guys were red. It was like a half hour long of just nobody saying anything important, just action shit.
Yeah. And it was
Just like a
all like
silent movie.
subtitled from Klingon.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Whatever. I'd like to see more Klingons. You're right about that.
I
Um,
I I think the TV shows really go deep into like the culture, alien cultures and shit.
okay. Which I gotta.
Because there's also the Romulans.
Alien
And
Romulans.
yeah, what?
That was Alien Romulus. Remember
Oh
Alien
God.
Romulus?
Right, right, right.
Sorry. Anyway, oh, we eventually kill Khan. I don't remember how, but we kill him, and then but he like did what he was supposed to do. So we're about to die if we don't jump into warp speed. So Spock has to go into that chamber, and
Yeah.
do the thing. And he did the thing on that guy where he went on his neck.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Bones is like, well, I guess we're gonna fucking die. You're not going in there. I'm not going in
That was
there.
Bones.
Yeah, and then he Vulcan nerve pinches him, and he's like, what?
I thought that was
And
McCoy. What does McCoy do in this one?
McCoy is Bones.
Oh shit, I got that right. Bones McCoy is his name.
I guess.
That's weird. That's DeForest Kelly.
Yes.
Oh shit. Yeah, but that was crazy. And he basically sacrifices himself for the greater good. He goes in there and dies of like radiation poisoning or whatever.
Yeah. And
But
then
he
he's
sends him
about
into
to
warp
die.
speed.
Kirk gets in there. He's like, "Oh no, fucking Spock's gonna die," and so they like say goodbye to each other.
It was like when Snape died.
Live long
Harry
and
Potter.
prosper.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
Oh shit. They don't say that. That's what that means.
Yeah,
this
live
means
long,
live
and,
long
prosper.
and prosper.
They say it a few times in the movie, and there's one line in the first movie where someone's like they're talking about a guy and he goes, "He didn't live long," and I was like, "Or prosper."
He might have prospered. That's why I left that out. He prospered, but he's like Heath Ledger. He prospered. He just didn't live that long.
Yeah.
And then it ends. We have this beautiful burial service for Spock. I thought that was
quite
nice.
Beautiful.
And then we see his
Kirk delivers a eulogy.
Yeah, that was nice. He's like,
"Oh, I love.
Spock is this my best friend?" I was trying to do an impression.
Good job. Is this the one with that awesome ending where they're like, "Where should we go next, Captain?"
No, the first one, I think.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
He goes out there. You know,
that way. I think that was the first one. I love that.
That's baller.
That was great. Shit. Shatner was so good there.
That was his best moment in either of these movies, I think.
You might be right about that. And then the first one ended, "The human adventure is just beginning."
That was so lame.
I liked it. That was cool. I was like, oh shit, you got me amped. It is just beginning. It might be ending for us now, but back then they were just beginning and they didn't even know it.
Yeah, Star Trek is a very optimistic view of the future. Nice. It's nice, but naive. All right, so what do you give Wrath of Khan?
Well, what do you do? 4?
Yeah, I'll go 4.
That's fine. Yeah, step up from the first movie. Way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Who's
your MVP?
Spock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome in this one.
And who's your LVP?
The boy, probably David.
Oh, great call. Yeah, I agree.
I thought everyone not runner up, but special shout out to Chekhov. Oh, by the way, the other guy killed himself. He had a gun and was like, "Oh, no."
Oh yeah, that was kind of baller.
I really like that moment.
I thought Chekhov was all right.
Paul Winfield.
Like
I'm saying that a step up. Like he did. Like a shout out to him. Because he had to play like mind controlled, and I thought he did a really good job.
He didn't make much of an impression on me in the first movie, but then like he gets a lot to do in this movie because he's the one that's like crash landed on Khan's planet or whatever.
Well, one of two, him and Terrell, Paul Winfield. They land together. Who is he? Paul Winfield. I've heard that name before.
I don't know. I know Dave Winfield was a baseball player.
Oh, he was in the Terminator.
Was he?
Like he was in Cliffhanger. He was in Mars Attacks.
God damn. What a career for Paul Winfield.
Yeah, very cool. But anyway, I don't think we got any comments. For some reason, nobody cares about Star Trek. I thought that they did. Especially this audience. A bunch of nerds. Gotta refresh. No comments.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Post a little earlier next week.
I will.
But
Nolan did send a DM. I don't know if that's about that thing.
Oh, what does it say?
It doesn't matter. It's a DM. Just read it afterward.
I'm not gonna look. Tell me if it says something about wrestling. All right, listen. Next week on the franchise, we're covering Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock and Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home, presumably the voyage home from that Genesis planet after they pick up Spock.
What a spoiler.
And then stay tuned on the Patreon. We got a lot coming your way. Patreon.com/thefranchise. We're doing an Award Bros deep dive on 1990. We're doing we're finishing season 4 of Angel this week and watching
Wow.
the penultimate episode of Buffy.
We're finishing Survivor 41.
Finishing Survivor 41 on Compies. Drop the 4, keep the 1. And we also have a Hey I'm Watching here coming your way. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about here on the Patreon.
And if you missed it, we ranked our top 25 Best Picture winners.
Oh yeah, that was really fun.
And that was fun. And we've got a lot of good suggestions.
Good feedback. Yeah.
My brother sent me some suggestions.
Movie Mike texted me some suggestions.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Keep sending them in.
L Dog, great talking to you. And we'll venture back into space next week. All right.
Absolutely.
I'll see you out there. That away.